Welcome, gentle listener. I am Baldermort, your faithful servant, and I wish to introduce you to the important factions, forces, and faces of the Warhammer 40k universe. The grim darkness of the far future, where there is no time for peace, there is only time for war. If you are a regular gentle listener, then I would ask that you check that you are still subscribed and have notifications on. If not, then do please consider subscribing, as then you will not miss out on ongoing narratives, if that sort of thing appeals to you. And today, we have but a swift entry, as I am attempting to get back on the horse. But this is a shorter entry by design. Because next week, I will be putting up an entry for a certain Black Templar. That will be all I hope you expect from my very best work. I will endeavour to hit the mark dead on that time, I can assure you. But first, a very brief word from the sponsors of this video. 2 minutes, 8 seconds. I do try to make them as swift and engaging as I can, so at least give me that. Sorry, but as Major Kill has pointed out, much to my annoyance, if you divide my funding by the hours put in, I make the same as a burger flipper. So I do adverts so I can continue. Alas, I'm not as popular as you might wish to believe. So let's have at it, then move on to the lore. 2 minutes, 8 seconds. Let's do it. Raid Shadow Legends, where you too can be a legend. The fantastic fantasy game still available free on PC, console, and or smartphones. And he's here to play again. Yes, for a limited time only, you can get your sweaty palms on Ninja. And look, as a prerequisite for any Rwangi killing spree, he even has a backstory now. Let's have a look.
Raid Shadow Legends made me a champion. Here's how it happened.
This is the tale of an orphan adopted by the Shadowkin, who grew to be a mighty warrior. He suffered greatly.
Not my best look.
But kept training, facing every challenge.
Now we're talking.
Transforming into a true Shadowkin ninja.
This is so awesome!
Download Raid Shadow Legends and get the legendary champion for free. And now to the backstory. Born of a noble Bannerlord warrior, Ninja's life was spared as Shadowkin raiders laid waste to his family's manor. An infant ninja was then disappeared by the Shadowkin and spirited away to their lands. There he was raised as a Shadowkin and taught the arts of shadow and war in secret. How surprising. He would soon become one of the Shadowkin's greatest weapons, unleashed on the evil demon-spawn hordes that held them in thrall as part of their grand rebellion against the minions of Sidioth. And I can assure you that wasn't easy to say that quickly. It's madness, I know, but he's a total freebie, but only available until October the 15th, never to return after that, so get your mitts on him now, you fools. And that's not all. Raid also has a buck-ton of new clan features, champions, quests, and even clan shops for all your impulse buying needs. You can use the techno thingy again, handy eh? And if you do, you'll get 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard, and Chonuru, the epic champion. I bet Ninja could kick her ass. Kick, that's right, kick. So download Raid Shadow Legends today from the links in the description and get all of your rewards here. Go get your sweaty palms on Ninja in so many ways. All of the new bonuses will be right here, but only for new players and only for the next 30 days. Raid Shadow Legends. Start your legend today. With that out of the way, let us continue. And so, as usual, for the very basics, let us lean on existing wisdom. To quote, High Marshal Helbrecht. High Marshal Helbrecht exemplifies the hallmark qualities of the Black Templars. Stubbornness, personal honor, and unswerving loyalty to the Emperor. His rise through the chapter was swift, impressing his peers with the sheer ferocity of his desire to slay the enemies of the Emperor. Even as an initiate, Helbrecht fought with zeal and courage beyond expectation. He held the line against a vast swarm of Tyranids at Deathcore Ridge, and refused to yield whilst there yet remained a foe to fight. Helbrecht was inducted into the Sword Brethren just a few decades later, for the legendary feat of besting a demon prince with only his combat blade. His combat blade. After this, his meteoric ascension continued apace, paved at every step with the deaths of the Emperor's most fearsome enemies. When High Marshal Cordell was slain by a frenzied berserker, the marshals of the Black Templars gathered to choose a new leader for their chapter. Helbrecht was elected unanimously and presented with the sword of the High Marshals. End quote. Now this little entry does something to elucidate on the history of the High Marshal of the Black Templars. But alas, in their drive for brevity, I feel the Games Workshop have missed the mark by quite some margin. For, as is oft said, one should judge a man by the power of his enemies, and in Helbrecht there could not be a more luminous set of adversaries. For there are 3 events I feel perfectly epitomize the glorious history of this stalwart of the Astartes. 1. He was instrumental at the defense of Armageddon. He led the Black Templars in the Third War on that planet, and faced the forces of Ghazghul Maguruk Thraka, the most powerful orc warlord for some 8,000 years. But not only this. It was Helbrecht who took Commissar Yarrick across the stars in hot pursuit of this orc beast. Alas, the green-skinned prophet escaped Helbrecht, but only by the intervention of the orc gods, Gork and Mork, who had not taken any direct action in the dramas of the real world, since possibly the time of the war in heaven. So loved was Ghazghul by his gods. Hence it is that Helbrecht has sworn an oath to destroy the orc chieftain, a powerful enemy indeed. 2. Helbrecht is one of the only beings in the universe that has crossed swords with Imhotep the Stormlord. Now, it is difficult to explain the gravity of the situation until one knows who this being is, so I shall now play my brief synopsis of this titan, so you are updated. One of my earliest works, so do please forgive the sound discrepancy. I just don't feel I can re-record it with any better gusto. And so, gentle listener, we draw it all together. The Sautek are the most numerous and powerful of the Necron dynasties that have now fully awoken, led by Imhotep, a better strategist than Hannibal Barca or Fabius Maximus, a better tactician than Gaius Julius Caesar or Marius, a better field commander than Alexander. None can hold a candle to Imhotep. He was fighting wars before the Emperor was a twinkle in the mind of Ka. He is a commander from an age of unfettered war. He has fought against the Catan and Eldorei thought constructs and the great old ones. He has architected the destruction of races and civilization, and he has witnessed the ending of gods. He has ordered millions to mete out death to trillions. Imhotep is a being from a different time, working on an entirely grander scale to the beings who now call themselves generals. He makes the Primarchs and even the Emperor alike look like boys. He makes the likes of Eldred, Vecht and Uriel Rakath look like whelps still staring wide-eyed at the beauty and tragedy of the stars that he once ruled. He is the Grand Strategos. He is the end of nations and the death of worlds. He is Imhotep the Storm Lord. And as things stand, he could well be the most dangerous being in the galaxy. So now you know Imhotep. Helbrecht fought this being hand to hand. A poor choice of words, perhaps, as Imhotep took off Helbrecht's sword hand and left him crippled. The Stormlord likes to do this so his adversaries increase in anger, in power, in zeal to defeat him. Why? Because he can. And because, like I have already identified, the Necron Nemosaur of legend really does subscribe to the value of his worth being in the caliber of his foes. And Imhotep at that time found Helbrecht wanting. He was simply not worthy enough to outright slay, something the Stormlord was to regret. For Helbrecht has done something nobody has ever done before, not in the current era, not in the war in heaven. For he caught Imhotep the Stormlord flat-footed, cruising around in his Cairn-class tomb ship, the Inevitable Conqueror. And Helbrecht left no time to deliberation, no time for hesitation. He struck, and he brought the Necron Lord low. For Helbrecht took his fleet and attacked the Necrons with such speed and wrath that he managed to board the flagship of the Necron and overwhelm it so rapidly and so brutally that the greatest Necron warlord to ever live, Imhotep, was forced to abandon his own flagship by teleporting to an escort, and only barely escaped with his living metal hide intact. So let me repeat that. Helbrecht managed to make the greatest general of all time lose a battle, and it was so bad that the Storm Lord himself fled. He ran before the wrath of the Black Templars. He turned tail from the High Marshal Helbrecht. That is the caliber of this hero of the Imperium. And Helbrecht has now been tasked by the Lord Commander of the Imperium, Reboot Gilliman, to take the Eternal Crusades out into the galaxy once more. Not that they ever stopped in their efforts. And it is Helbrecht's Black Templars who are striking out towards every last shrine world in the galaxy, and to take them back from the vile clutches of the Chaos forces blurted out from the Great Rift into the Immaterium. Next week, we shall discuss why I believe it is the Black Templars that have been the true guardians of the Imperium entire. I hope to see you there. But I will warn you, it could be a bit frothy. So please, don't listen on highest volume or risk thy eardrums, for this particular subject will indeed bring out all of my zeal, and I honestly cannot wait until it is finished. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.